Hello, everyone, and welcome to you all. It's nice to see you all here. My name is Leona Brandwene. I serve as the Associate Director of Education here at Penn at the Positive Psychology Center, and I oversee our Master of Applied Positive Psychology as well as our Applied Positive Psychology Certificate. So what is the Applied Positive Psychology Certificate about? We are focused on helping the students in our classroom to become more professionally and personally effective through courses that are about well-being and flourishing. So I want to differentiate. Often when we hear the term mental health, it's often a euphemism for mental illness. And well-being, of course, is not just the absence of mental illness. There's the presence of what we call positive health. That includes things like a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning and accomplishment in life, our ability to create and sustain positive relationships, and to experience positive emotions. So this is important to us because so often we think about happiness and flourishing as a byproduct of things going really well in our lives, right? So if we have a great job, if our academics are going well, if our relationships with our friends are flourishing and our family as well, then of course, who would not be happy in those circumstances, right? But it's actually bidirectional. So happiness is not just a byproduct, it's also a cause of some of those things. So happier people are people who tend to seek out opportunities to grow. They seek out relationships and try to make them better by collaborating effectively. They seek out new goals. They are working on actually enacting a sense of purpose and a vision in life. So it is bidirectional, and there's all these really good outcomes that come from our ability to flourish. And especially when we're experiencing challenging circumstances in the world, which I think we see around us all the time, the ability for us to be able to thrive in those moments of adversity becomes particularly important. So we've got two foundational courses. One is the Intro to Positive Psych, and then the Human Flourishing, Strengths, and Resilience. That's our 1,000 and 1,200 level courses, and those are kind of the baseline. They are not prerequisites for the remainder of the courses, although we certainly would love for people to take those courses first because it does lay a pretty good groundwork. But in addition to that, we've got our Positive Psychology at Work, which covers research-informed tools for improving work performance, Flourishing Together, which is about relationships, ranging from relationship with ourselves all the way out to our relationship with the planet and everything in between, like dyads and our friendships and our families. We have some classes around flourishing through the arts and creativity, which is exactly what it, is exactly as it's titled. We, of course, have a course that's on understanding the science of positive psychology because we want to be research informed and evidence-based in this work that we do. And then finally, I wanted to highlight our newest course, which is the APOP 2700, Flourishing and Wellbeing in Resilient Communities. Now, that is cross-listed with the Social Difference, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Certificate, which you're going to hear about in a couple of minutes from my colleague Clay. But that is focused on how we take, instead of just a deficit-based approach with people who have major barriers to flourishing, communities that have major barriers to flourishing, we can also take a strengths-based approach and understand how they have carved a path to flourishing and how those strengths have really enabled them to flourish in spite of, I might say.